What's going on, everyone? Smell that? It's NBA basketball, baby. We're back. I'm excited. Season is about to begin. Day one, right? Game one. This game is very important for the Los Angeles Lakers. You're at home against the Golden State Warriors, right? Which is projected to be a very good basketball team this year. They're deep. They have a solid starting unit. There's a lot of people coming out saying that they have the best starting unit in all of basketball. And yet, here we are taking them on. This start of the season is very important for the Lakers on several fronts. One, they don't leave California until the 29th against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So they play the Warriors and then the Timberwolves at home. So the Warriors today and then the Timberwolves on the 24th. So they have a couple days off. And then the Timberwolves. Then they play it at Sacramento, which is still in California. And then they play in LA against Portland. And then on the 29th, they go to Minnesota. So Lakers are going to be in California for basically the next week and some change. And then top of that, they play several home games. And the other kind of important side of this is you're not going to have LeBron James. So Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton as kind of your core three guys, as your main three guys that you're looking at for not just now, but the future of this team. You're going to get a good look at, right? So can this team string some wins together? I think the Lakers have a very winnable schedule during the stretch in which LeBron is likely going to be out. We'll see, obviously, how quickly they can put things together. There were some positives in Summer League that I loved, right? You could see the offense at times, even without Luka, and how many guys we have that can just go generate offense if need be. But Luka is going to make things so much easier, right? Him and his ability to kind of be that offensive engine, make guys not have to work as hard on the offensive side of things, I think will be very beneficial, right? Like guys like Jake LaRavia. I've seen people kind of hot and cold on Jake LaRavia. I thought you saw everything that you wanted to see from him. Yeah, he had, some not great shooting nights toward the last two games of Summer League, but you look at the previous, 4 games, he shot like 50% from the field in those games. But you also saw a lot of games where he had 8 rebounds, a couple assists. He had a 4 steal game, right? Like you saw the two-way capabilities, right? No one's expecting Jake LaRavia to come in and immediately be a superstar. I even said that talking about it. I said I wouldn't be surprised if, he kind of is working his way in, and then by mid-season, then maybe he's the guy that's the starter just because of his two-way capabilities. We'll see, right? They're supposed to go with Gabe Vincent. We'll see how this starting unit works. But even JJ Redick said he still might go kind of game to game, especially with LeBron out. Kind of might mix and match based on matchups and opponents, right? Like you play Minnesota, you might want to try to see if you can go double bigs, right? Maybe go a Maxi Kleber out there or something. Who knows? We'll see how this plays out. But you need to get this first win because everything starts with day one, game one. You're playing a good team in the Golden State Warriors, right? This is going to be a matchup that I do think the Lakers should be favored in, and I do think match up incredibly well against the Warriors, right? Luka loves to play the Warriors. They don't really have guys outside of like Jonathan Kuminga that can really like match up with Luka Doncic, right? They don't have like a ton of size, and then even guys like Draymond, as great of a defender as he is, he's not going to be able to check Luka to the level that they would need. So Jonathan Kuminga, he's got the size, the length, and the athleticism to where maybe, again, you're not going to stop Luka, but can try to slow him down. So I expect a lot of Jonathan Kuminga on Luka Doncic. But again, Austin Reeves, this is an opportunity for him to really get going and establish himself early. DeAndre Ayton, this is a great matchup for him going up against a guy like Al Horford, who, don't get me wrong, is still a good defensive player, right? Savvy veteran, all of those things. But DeAndre Ayton should be able to win that matchup. Right, I expect him at least, double-double. He should be at probably 14 points and 10 rebounds, couple assists. Give me like a block and a steal or something like that. I expect DeAndre Ayton to be bought in, be motivated, be hungry, and really kind of establish himself as the clear Lakers center for potentially now in the future, right? But it's about starting to put things together, and really the defensive side of things. defense, right? The Warriors, they can light fire in a hurry. If the Lakers aren't locked in on the defensive side of things, this game could get out of hand very quickly. We saw even in preseason, teams just jacking up threes because they know I just got to win a foot race against the perimeter guys in like a Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, and Luka Doncic, right? Luka's got a great nose for the basketball. He's really good at kind of reading where the ball is going to go. That's why he's so good at rebounding the basketball. But still, you don't want him in a foot race with some of the more athletic guys and things like that. So Lakers are going to have to make sure that they're defending, switching, however they decide to run their defensive sets with, precision, right? They got to be locked in because the Warriors, again, are a team that can get going in a hurry, right? You're never going to stop Steph. If Jimmy Butler is playing like playoff Jimmy, you're never going to stop him. But you need to make things as difficult as possible. You need to make things as tough as possible. And don't turn, Pod into a superstar. Don't turn Pod into prime Clay tonight, right? Don't turn, Jonathan Kuminga into prime Jordan tonight, right? You got to limit the guys that shouldn't be going crazy and trying to slow down guys like a Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. Again, you're never going to stop, just like they're never going to stop Luka, but they want to try to slow him down as much as possible. Don't let him be the guy that goes and generates 100 points of offense, right? He's dropping 50 and dishing out 15 assists. That's what they're trying to limit, right? Same thing with Steph. You want to try to limit him as much as possible, make other guys make plays, make other guys have to kind of elevate and raise to the top, and then also trust that your defensive players and your guys can really kind of slow things down. I do, again, think that this is a good matchup, a favorable matchup, but I don't think it's an easy matchup, right? Again, Warriors looked really good after the, post Jimmy Butler trade because Jimmy just opens up so much for them as a secondary playmaker, as a secondary star, as a guy that can, defend and do multiple things out there on the basketball court, kind of be that Swiss Army knife guy for them in many ways, but at any moment can turn it on. If Steph doesn't get hurt, they very well could be in the conference finals, right? So that's a team that I don't think we should take lightly, but I do think that the Lakers, again, with their size, with their length, guys like Rui usually play really well against the Golden State Warriors, right? This is a good opportunity to kind of get Rui going early. You don't have LeBron. I don't think we're a better team without LeBron, but I do think that we're a good enough team to win games and be a playoff team. I've talked about, I could see the Lakers being a 5th or 6th seed without LeBron as is. Obviously, there's still some glaring holes, athleticism out on the perimeter, right? Real, two-way capabilities, some defensive, just versatility, right? There's definitely some things that I have concerns with, right? But I do think that this team is still good enough to generate wins, particularly in the regular season, where you can get away with a lot in the regular season. Playoff time is where I think Lakers need to address some of those things by. But right now, I think you can beat teams like the Warriors and so on. I think you're in a good position. You're at home. The crowd's going to be wild because, first game of the season, first full look at, new and improved Luka Doncic, first look at just this team as a whole with DeAndre Ayton and everything like that. So this is going to be, I think, a very good opportunity. Don't have LeBron, so you don't have that crutch that you can rely on, but I do think that this is good for guys to kind of elevate and raise their game. Again, DeAndre Ayton, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, even guys like Jake LaRavia, Jared Vanderbilt, I think is going to be very important. Hopefully he's healthy and right? That last game, he didn't quite look right compared to the other 5 that he played, but also, again, or other 4 that he played, but again, how much of that was hey, dude, you just got hurt, right? We don't need you to do anything crazy. Just go out there, right? Just walk away tonight without getting hurt or anything like that. I was even surprised he even played at all, right? So we'll see. Gabe Vincent, he's been really good during preseason. I mean, you can argue he's been our best player in preseason, consistent player in preseason. So he's a guy that, again, if he can continue to play that way, continue to shoot the ball well, continue to make plays, continue to, just defend. I mean, Marcus Smart would look very impressive, right? These are the guys that we're looking to kind of slow down Steph and kind of, make him work. Again, you're not going to stop Steph, but can you slow him down, throwing bodies at him? Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, Marcus Smart, so on and so forth, right? We need guys to step up. Jackson Hayes usually plays well against the Warriors, right? So he's going to be able to do some things. I do think that this is a good matchup for the Lakers. I do think that this is a favorable matchup for the Lakers, but that doesn't mean that the Lakers are just going to run through the Warriors. Now, again, all things go right, absolutely they can, right? But we saw, and I even talked about, that last preseason game that was the dress rehearsal, it's a little sloppy. It wasn't quite what you wanted it to be. It didn't look as crisp and clean as you would hope that it would look going into, preparing for the season, right? So I'm hoping that, they had 4 days or whatever to kind of clean things up, kind of work on some things, watch some film, kind of, again, it's preseason, it's always hard to properly take things away because it's like, how much of it is them kind of going half mass? How much of it is like, hey, just go out there and just don't get hurt. Just kind of run through your sets, kind of walkthroughs almost, right? Where you're now the games matter. Now it's important. Now guys are really kind of working hard, right? Like there's a lot that goes into the regular season that you just don't get from preseason. All right, it's not even necessarily an effort thing. It's just, again, you're trying to tighten things up. It's your first time really kind of working on this. First time you put all those guys together, right? I'm hoping that some of that stuff kind of gets cleaned up going into this game against the Warriors, and we're gonna find out probably pretty quickly, right? How this is looking, how teams are looking. But to me, it's just about the Lakers, buckling down, handling what they're supposed to handle, maximizing their mismatches because they're going to have several mismatches on the basketball court, right? Taking advantages of the areas that you can take advantage of and trying to slow down the Warriors and don't let that team shoot 50% from three-point range, right? Like that's going to be a big factor as well. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.